Welcome to the Guntersville Grassroots Podcast. We're starting into the third week of April, and Mr. Trey Swindle is in the house.
I'm here
Trey,
again.
Welcome. I don't know which one of these is. There we go.
There,
we got
perfect.
applause.
We guessed it right this time.
I couldn't remember which button did that. I mean, Trey's one of those people that walks in the room and the applause just starts.
Yeah, just randomly.
Just randomly.
Yeah.
Just randomly. So I'm supposed to say, welcome to the Guntersville Grassroots Podcast, presented by RecLending.com. New title sponsor for the Bass and Big G site, podcast, newsletter that I do, all kinds of things. So it's kind of crazy story. Fishing has always took me down some weird avenues. I started thinking about that one day, and I was like, I'm doing what I'm doing right now as an appraiser because of people I met fishing.
Mm-hmm.
I made a buddy, then I met another guy it's just weird how that all works together. But that's not the story we're going to tell today. The story we're going to tell today is I upgraded boats a little bit. I've had that other one that's almost as old as you, real close to being as old as you. It's for sale, still a great boat. If anybody's looking, I got it for sale. Call me, text me, message me, whatever. In the process, boats are a little expensive, as you well know.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to do a little financing on some of it, and I was looking, and the dealer places you look at, the rates were terrible. They're still terrible, but they're less terrible at some other options. And so I did some looking, and I was on Bass Boat Central, and several different people recommended a place called Rec Lending. Never heard of them. So I just kept on scrolling. So I called the guy that I do my boat insurance with, which is a guy named Bob Llewellyn, I believe, is Worldwide Marine something. They're in Michigan. I ended up there when I put a new motor on an old boat years ago. State Farm's insurance on that wasn't going to work for me. And I ended up with this guy. He does nothing but boats. And when I was talking to him, I said, look, I was trying to get a price on insurance. And I said, do you know anybody about Rec Lending? He goes, oh, man, we do stuff with them all the time, such and such. So I called. Lady answers the phone, and she says, hold on a minute, let me transfer you. Well, the guy gets on the phone. I'm talking to him, and he said, where are you from? I told him, and he goes, man, I was just down there. And I said, really? And I said, were you fishing the Angler's Choice stuff? He goes, matter of fact, I was. So this guy, I was talking to him for a little bit, and I asked him, I said, did you sign up for the Bass Cash Bash? And he said, no. He said, I saw it, but it was about halfway through, and he said, I just never did it, and I got lucky. And I said, well, you are lucky. I said, I paid about 3 or 4 of those guys ended up catching tags while they're here. They're here for like 10 days.
Yeah.
And so we got talking and various things, and he goes, man, he said, I've been sitting here scratching my head. I was down there for all these days, and he said, there's just boats everywhere and people everywhere, and it's just bustling with, and he said, I've just been trying to decide. He said, I'm the owner of Rec Lending. And I said, oh, okay. He said, I've been trying to decide how to get the word out down there to help grow my market for this company. He said, we've been around for, I think it's 20 years. I should have looked that up before I started this, but I didn't. And he said, but he said, literally for the last 2 weeks, I've been sitting here scratching my head going, how can I do? I said, man, have you come to the right place?
Yeah, that's right.
So we got to talking, and I told him a little bit about the Bass and Big G site that I started 14 years ago. Or wait, no, 11 years ago. It was 2014. And this is my 11th year of it. And he said, and I said, well, I've got a spot for a title sponsor. I said, I really haven't pursued it a whole lot. And I said, just been kind of busy. And we got to talking. So long story short, Todd with Rec Lending is now our title sponsor. Glad to have him. If you're looking to buy a boat, the interest rates were significantly better with this guy. And of course, all those things vary by credit and various things, but they also do RV loans, boat RV loans. They also have a extended warranty type plan. I'm not terribly familiar with that. And recently moved into selling insurance as well for boats. So you can look them up at reclending.com, REClending.com. And that's all our ads for the day. So now we're going to talk fishing. I got out a little bit. Seeing water, 67, 70? What are you seeing?
It's somewhere around that. Yeah. Seemed to be the kind of normal everywhere you go, really.
Feels like June here this week.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I got sunburnt the other day. I went Monday and Tuesday, got sunburnt.
Take your shirt off?
Oh, yeah. Sweating today. I thought about jumping in. It did. It felt like it was the middle of June out there.
Yeah, till you put your foot in the water.
Yeah, till you put your foot in the water. Or you turn and a wave splashes you, and you're like, man, that's cold.
60. Yeah, well, I went Saturday afternoon with my son, and he was hot. He reaches over and takes his shoes off, sticks his feet in the water. He goes, no, I'm not getting in there. He's 11. They're bulletproof at that point. I was waiting on him to jump in. He's nope, still a little chilly. And it was 65-ish that day. It's warmed up a little. I'd say the spawn is on, wouldn't you?
It is in full effect right now. They are just laying everywhere out there. Now, sadly, for the the casting catching tournament that's coming up this weekend, I'm sure you're probably not going to be able to see them because of the rain we're getting.
Looking like it's going to be cloudy and maybe a little.
Yeah, rain. A little cloudy, and we got something right. We got a good bit of rain today, getting some more rain Friday, but you might not be able to see them by the tournament time, but they are just laying everywhere. That's why fishing right now, you got to kind of slow down. That's why most of the baits everybody's using is a stick bait, a Senko, just kind of dragging around on the grass flats. They're spawning around in all them holes, but
I'll tell you a funny story. You weren't here. I did a little podcast with Mike Carter a couple weeks ago, and in the process, he's a thump gel guy. And I think they're one of his sponsors, but he's been using it. And I asked him, I didn't think anything about it. In the process, he said something about throwing, I think he used the word Senko. I call them dingers, yum dingers, I mean, whatever. I said, Mike, do you put the thump gel on your dinger? And I didn't think much about it. All right. I just kept, and he goes, what? And I said, on your Senko, do you put it? So he texted me or called me the next day after I put it out and says his wife and him and his wife were listening to it. And he said, when I went, do you put thump gel on your dinger? That she went, what the hell's he talking about? and if I hadn't already posted it, the title of that one would have been Mike Carter puts thump gel on his dinger. And we would have probably gotten thousands of downloads instead of the 4 people that listened,
Exactly. Exactly.
So anyway, he thought that his wife did not know what a dinger was, thought that was pretty fun. Obviously her mind went somewhere else, which is fine. It's funny. So anyway, sorry, back to the baits. Yeah. Senkos, dingers, lizards, plastics, brush hogs, some
pretty
top
normal
water
for this time of the year. Some top water a little bit. Most of the time, you kind of having to slow down. I know some guys, you can still go catch some on a chatterbait. That's what blows my mind about this lake is you can just about do anything you want, but the majority of them's going to spawn. Catching them on a
or
slow
finished a little,
bait.
and you got and they're real funky.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like to eat. I mean, I say they don't like to eat. It's like they just sit down for a day or two.
Take a week off or something.
Take a week off.
Yeah,
and that must happen in the BFL last week because
I
don't think it wasn't particularly windy on Saturday, but there was that cold front that had come through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they only had 100 boats, which is down for BFLs on Guntersville. That's normally 150, 200, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like there was one Jason Atkins from Section won it with 22 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
According to something I saw, he was throwing a swim jig and a Senko. Go figure. But like 100 boats in April, 120-pound bag.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad. 13 pounds got a check or something. I mean, there were a lot of your normal people really didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I went out that afternoon, and it was. I mean, I hadn't been. I've been having various things going on. I had not really. First time I had been in 10 days probably, and it took me a minute. I mean, I caught some 10. Nothing over 3 pounds, but throwing a dinger. But it was definitely slow, and apparently the afternoon bite was better than the morning bite because there were a lot of big name folks didn't hardly weigh anything.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm glad I wasn't even part of that.
Mm-hmm.
The water's up. She's full.
Yep.
She's full. You said you'd been out a couple of days. I mean, I think it's full summer pool.
Yeah. No, it's extreme because I mean there was a place I went and checked for that tournament this weekend. I was just gonna go yesterday and kind of look around, and man, I feel like the water's come up. It seems like 6 feet. Like I
can't
know,
see the bottom anymore.
Yeah, you can't even see. Like I had a waypoint of where a giant one was laying, and little tip for everybody. Most of the time, I fish like there'll be 5 fish spawning the same bed. Once one leaves, another one will just pull up. So I was like, I'm gonna go check that bed and see if another one's moved up in it. And went over there, and heck, it's 6 feet deep. And it was like 2 feet deep or 3 feet deep, and I'm like, holy cow. So it's kind of threw me for a loop a little bit.
At least you know where it is. You can
I just go throw my little yum dinger over there and let it sink down there.
Get it in there. And you know what came with all that extra water?
Floating grass.
Floating grass off the banks, and boy, it is special right now.
It's out there to just piss you off as soon as you put your boat in the water.
Do you know what doesn't like floating grass aside from me?
What is it?
A weightless dinger.
Or a top water.
Or a top water.
It's the worst top water lake in the country.
It used to not be.
Yeah, it used to not be. Now you can't even walk a spook without getting floated.
No, but I will say this: there was a bunch of machines out in the middle of the river the other day picking that stuff up, some of TVA stuff. And coming up, we're going in the next episode, we're going to have a guy from TVA on talking about some of that. So y'all be sure and be on the lookout for that in the next week or so. We've got one of the Grass Guys from TBA is going to
Mm-hmm.
come on and talk to us a little bit. I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm going to
Yeah,
nerd
that ought
out
to
on a
be
little bit of
interesting.
grass stuff. It might be one of those deals where you're like, it's not going to be just fishing, but you're going to learn some stuff about grass that
Yeah.
you need to know. So
Yeah, and a lot of questions will get answered that people on Facebook think they've already answered.
that's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
So
Yeah, that's a fact. So, casting and catching is coming up this weekend. Today's Wednesday, the 17th, I think, and and it's full. 200 boats capped out.
done.
You know,
I didn't realize it was already full.
yeah, sure is. Your boat 188 or something. You were down there.
Am I?
Yeah. I did, they sent me an email today that had the thing in it.
I need to check it because I hadn't.
And yeah, you were down there towards the end. So you didn't even get there at about 7.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I ain't.
I
Trust
don't
me.
come rolling in early. It
No.
may not be where to park, but I'm not going to sit in my boat for an hour. So, last time I looked, and I don't normally fish this one, but the Foodland, which is in 2 or 3 weeks, somewhere mid-May.
Yep.
They had like 10 spots left yesterday.
Yep. I
So-
signed up for that one too.
Did you?
Yep.
It's amazing that this year your schedule's working out. You're
Yeah,
actually here for some of
thankfully.
them.
Holy cow. Which the Foodland one I love, it's just so hard to win because it's a 3-fish tournament, you know. And
It's a big fish. You got
one time I think I fished it. We had 3 that weighed 19 or something and finished like 7th, but our biggest 5 weighed 32. You know, we'd have probably won a 5-fish tournament, which I can't say that. I don't know what
You
the
don't know
leader
what they had,
but at the same time, you know, it's just kind of hard to win because it's a 3-fish tournament. You got to have a big one, but it's a well run tournament. It's fun. It's a cool little tournament.
Yeah, it's working. You get like 10 grand for first place, so-
Mhm.
and they feed you.
Yep.
I
like
did
food.
notice something on the casting and catching. It's too late to sign up, but I noticed something that if they did it last year, I missed it. But kind of like the Freedom Marine, you know, of course, first place on this one's 15,000, and then second's 5, and third's 2, and fourth is 1,000. But then every 10th place to 40th is $1,000. So hey, here's
I'm back to redeem
here's
my
the
luck,
30th place
son.
again, buddy.
I am here to redeem myself on this.
After what you did in the Freedom.
After I got DQ'd for the 4th time in my career and lost out on a bunch of money, I'm ready.
You didn't get DQ'd. Let's not
necessarily.
start any more Trey Swindle rumors. Lord knows you pop up on enough things.
Yeah.
But
I almost got DQ'd from the Toyota series, and I wasn't even in it.
that's an inside joke.
Yeah.
But, that's Trey. I say Trey just randomly shows up in things. He's just that kind of guy.
Yep.
So,
Hey,
but anyway,
I'm everywhere.
I noticed that day. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm like, they're paying, and they're paying $300 to all the way down to 60th.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know they were doing that.
I didn't either. I looked.
I knew it was a well-run tournament, and I've never
it's
been
a great
here.
event. I always fish.
Yeah, I've never been here when they've had it. You know, I've always been gone. As soon as I realized I was going to be here, I signed up. Right away. So
So your next deal is what the next week? Like
the
you got
next
Logan
week,
Martin?
yep.
Is it
I
Logan?
got Logan Martin. I'll start practice not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Okay.
So
Next Saturday, the 27th, is my
Mhm.
22nd wedding anniversary. I will not be fishing. Probably.
not be fishing.
Probably.
Maybe that evening.
Well, probably that morning. If I
That
would probably be early.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that evening we're going to eat. So
Okay, yeah.
if I had to go, it'd be before she got up. So,
Uh-huh.
but probably won't be fishing. Heck, I may not even be in town. I don't know. So that's to be determined. And if she listened, she'd be going, "You're damn well not going to be fishing." She doesn't ever listen, so it's okay. So, so today, other than just me and Trey acting like bozos, you're going to have we're going to call John Maynor a guide. We had John on a couple years ago. The audio on it was a little rough that time for whatever reason, but John really likes to pick on Trey, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, okay. Drum roll. please.
I don't think I have a drum roll. I'm not
Yeah,
going to
I
hit the
don't
drum roll. So-
We're liable to play all kinds of sounds.
but we're going to see if we can get John, and we'll go from there. We've got John Maynor on here with us. John is a longtime guide on Gunnersville, Wheeler. Where else you guide, John?
Smith Lake.
Smith.
Yeah, I did Wilson Pickwick, but I took him out because I hate to drive through Decatur.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. So, but the bulk of what you do is on Gunnersville.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say 95%. Yep.
95%. So it's mid-April. Fish are spawning, and then various other things. Tell us what you're seeing out there right now.
Well, it's finally within the last week, I've seen a ton of fish finally commit to that shallow stuff. It's been hit and miss. Like one day you catch them really shallow, the next day you have to fish that 7, 8, 9 foot stuff. But they're finally up there. A lot of fish spawning right now.
So with that, are you having to slow down and drag plastics?
Yeah, I mean, really, just according to my clientele, and when they get up shallow, I mean, there's not a ton of baits that really work in that shallow grass too well anyway.
Yeah.
But plastics are probably the most effective, I would say.
The best guide bait ever created, the Yum Dinger or Cinco or whatever your flavor
I
is.
mean, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. Just throw it out there and just let one get it.
Do you have a color preference on those kind of things, or is it just whatever?
I'm a green pumpkin guy.
Green pumpkin. Any color as long as it's green pumpkin.
Yes, as long as it's got green pumpkin in it, I'm good.
Okay. All right. And you throw them strictly weightless, or do you wacky or Texas, or a little bit? How do you throw?
I'd probably do more Texas. Wacky probably catches bigger fish, but a lot of people fish it way too fast. If it's windy or frustrating, just kind of go with the day and see.
Yep. So
I bet Trey could even catch one with wacky.
I still ain't learned that technique. I've been waiting on you to guide me.
Trey can only catch fish with a live scope now. I mean, he is sold into it. That's all he does anymore.
Yep.
Is he a scoper?
If you can't beat them, join them. Son.
He said you were a scoper, but
yeah, that's what I wanted.
I've done it. Huh? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you today about live scope. Get your settings, since that's all you do now. That's what the fishing world's come to.
I do a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm addicted to it.
You're addicted. It's like video games, right?
It is fun.
Do you actually do some?
I do.
You do? Yeah.
I spent a lot of this February and March scoping and trying to learn more about it. But we've used them for years. I just never went out and looked for a fish just roaming by itself and try to catch it.
Yeah, because if you saw it, you go, that ain't a bass, but I guess it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I hadn't tried it. I hadn't, the whole roaming thing. I'm still not real. I mean, I just,
I think it is really cool. I think you learn so much about bass and the behavior, where they go, what they do. I think we don't maybe learn, but we realize we never knew what we were talking about. When we said they was all going to the bank, we were all wrong.
Yeah, they're in 30 foot of water doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right. It's incredible to watch them, just how they react. And when you get out on those places, you just see them eat. They're just eating all the time. Just
like Trey at the Sizzler buffet.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Trey, he'll order two plates at the buffet.
Yep.
Well, Hilly don't weigh $110 soaking wet. I don't know where he puts it. Of course, he's 12 years old, so
I put it in little Ziploc bags for the boat the next day.
I think it all goes into hair growth.
Now he's got that covered. Now it's been a few weeks since I'd seen him. He had cut the Chia Pet back a little bit, but it's growing back. But he doesn't. It might be the first time I've ever seen him without a hat today.
Yeah. I left it in the truck.
Oh, he's got the flow. He's got the flow.
I just got the flow. I've been waiting to see you. I'm gonna put it in a man boat.
Well,
oh my God,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Yep.
You don't.
I would love to take my hat off, run down the river, and just feel it flopping in the wind.
Yeah, it's magical. I'm telling you, it really.
I keep mine cut about 3/4 of an inch long. It just sticks up further.
That's me. Mine don't even move around when I get in the shower.
It falls off and washes down the drain. That's what happens when you get to be our age, John.
Yeah, I guess so.
Trey's probably got hair care products, though. I mean, he's got enough of it. He's probably got to get. Does your mom tell you what you need to do to keep your hair looking?
Yeah, she'll wash it for me if I want to.
Oh my God!
I bet he uses conditioner.
Yeah,
you just named this episode. Trey's mama washes his hair.
A $high conditioner in my hair so it flows better. Running down the lake.
It.
You're kind of kidding, but now there are some folks your age and younger that I'm pretty sure really do that.
No, I think they do.
And if they don't get perms, then they're the curliest headed kids I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
I don't know if you know what a Chia Pet is, but there's some.
I've seen them. I think I seen a commercial of that one time.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. I wasn't gonna sing it, but that's what I was thinking.
I'll sing it. I don't care.
Yeah. He can sing it. I promise you, he knows every word.
That's the reason I had you on, John. I don't know if we'll talk fishing or not, but I knew it was going to be fun. So have you had a good spring?
It's been good. It's been a struggle, to be honest. I mean, every day I've had to come up with somewhat a new way of catching one. It seemed like you can't go back and do the same thing every day. But now it's stable now. Weather's a little more stable. The fish are spawning, so I believe it's going to be good from here on out. It's just Man, they just moved so much this March and early April. It was crazy.
I think it was because the weather swings or the water swings or just pressure or what.
I think a little bit of everything. I mean, the water used to never fluctuate at Gunnersville like it does now. And when you drop it a foot and a half, sometimes nearly 2 foot. I mean, that's a lot of water when you talking about a lake that averages 12 foot.
Right. Yeah, it takes a lot. It'll look like it's 6 foot low, even if they only drop it a foot, because the water's
Yeah.
depth up there on the banks. And so we're actually going to talk to a guy here soon with TVA about water. He's really the grass guy, but he can give us a little info on the water levels and kind of what they're. When I talked to him off the air about coming on, he did allude to the fact that that they've always had about a 2 foot operating range, but that they have been trending a little bit more towards the tail end of it to help control some of the shallow grass.
That's what I thought. I figured that's why they did it because probably 4 years and more they never fluctuated. Inside of a foot being the most. It wasn't ever a problem. But now you get down to Seabowl and my clients can't even get in the ramp anymore. From the dock to the boat.
Oh yeah, because it's so high, or so yeah. That's a pretty tough.
Yep.
No, that's right. I dropped some tagged fish off there back in February, and that water. I mean, like I didn't want to throw a fish that far.
Yeah, they get a concussion when they hit the water.
I had them in my live well. I had brought them from different places, like from a tournament. I had put some in a live well and tagged them, and I went down to Seabold and I carried them in a weighing bag down there, and I went, I'm not gonna. So I laid down and let them go, and still couldn't reach the water. I mean, it's down there. So
yeah,
and I watched. You need a ladder.
Did one of them have the boat or truck tag in it?
No, those were let go on video. The truck tag was let go across from Goose Pond over there at the community hole ditch where 5,006 people will be here in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then
including John Maynard live scoping.
And as I've said before, to the best of my knowledge, you can't see the tag sticking out of their back yet with live scope. If it gets to that, we're probably done. So, and then the boat tag was let go kind of out in front of Allred's down below the river bridge, out in the river between Allred's and Browns and River Bridge. So,
that's cool.
So where they go, nobody knows.
I need to catch one.
Last year you didn't. Before that, you've been on the payroll. I mean, I was kept waiting on you. So we did have the 2022 truck tag caught a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Sure did.
Really?
Yeah, sure did.
I'm curious about like some of the fish that were tagged 3 and 4 years ago because you never hear anything about if somebody catches one.
Well, you just got to pay attention to the right places to hear about that. We actually do post some of that stuff, but that would require social media. And I know, John, you're not a big fan. So.
I don't post a lot. No, that's for sure.
No. So I had a guy, Matt Van Meter, that works down at Freedom. I don't know if you know Matt or not, but
I know Matt.
So Matt caught a 2020 tag up around Goose Pond a 2-3 weeks ago. It's when I let go at Browns Creek in 2020. So where has Nemo been since then? Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I've had 6 or 7 prior years caught this year.
Do you record weights or estimate weights?
No,
anything like that?
I really don't. I don't have. I mean, I'm a one-man show most of the time doing that. I don't have time to do that. I set my little tank up and say, dump your fish here, and I go through, pick 2 or 3 of them out and tag them and let them go.
It's been 4 years since he was tagged. I mean, was it a pretty good size fish?
I think it had grown. Yeah. Of course, a lot of what I'm tagging, I'm assuming, because I tend to tag the, the 2 or 3 pounders. A lot of them are probably males. Mm-hmm. And I don't, they don't, I don't guess they tend to grow quite as much. And cause I had one last year caught that was from the very first year we did it, 2019. So, and it was about 4 pounds, but I think it was a male. So, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. This year alone, I've had prior years tags that were caught opposite ends of the river where I let them go. One from Goose Pond to Allred's one was in Allred's and I let go Goose Pond, one from Browns to Goose Pond.
That's
or
crazy.
General vicinity. It is crazy. So John, on fishing, what's next? What are we going to see here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I assume there's going to be a little bit of anything you want to do going on. There's probably, I would say, and I may be off, just from what I see, because I stay on the lower end and they're always behind. Fish spawn earlier, Goose Pond and north. I don't know why, but they do. There'll be fish, they'll be spawning. April and May are our biggest spawning months. You'll have fry garters, and they'll just be a shallow bite. It'll be really good for a couple of months, and then when they go deep, it's going to be good. There's a lot of fish in the lake. We just get them to settle down and do the same thing every day. We
make a little
we'll be in
difference.
good
wouldn't it?
shape. Yeah.
So, but you think we're still several weeks away from really grouping up?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's usually. I mean, and I year to year, it's always. I notice the first week of April, or they start the masses. I speak for majority now. I don't speak for. You've always got exception to the rule, but
Oh, sure.
the masses or the big numbers usually start staging up that first week, and then when they make that push shallow, they're kind of committed, and so you can fish shallow the whole day, for the next month and a half, and be fine, catch good size. A month ago you could catch some really big ones shallow, but you couldn't do it 2 days in a row. Makes no sense. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It was they just moved a lot, but I mean, you're fixing there's probably a few fish out on the ledges, already, but it's gonna get a lot more stable, a lot better.
Ought to have a
fry
shad
garter,
spawn here
they're
soon
always
too.
a lot more aggressive. Shad spawn is coming pretty soon, and that shad spawn's been getting me over here because it used to be on that river.
Yep.
In that hydrilla and milfoil, but now it seems like the shad spawn more on the floating eelgrass.
And how do you
You
fish
can
that?
run down the river. You don't, because it never repeats itself, right?
Yeah, right.
You need to set you up a
And
fan
you
on
be
the bank.
running. You take off in the morning and you look. There's some shad spawn on that floating stuff. There's some shad spawning, but yeah, it's hard to set up on.
You should probably just stop and scope around and catch one. I honestly bet now, knowing what we know, Trey, being the scoper that he is,
Oh, God.
could probably stop in the middle of the river on a floating shad spawn and catch a 10-pounder.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I don't know about
mean-
me, but somebody could.
Somebody.
It ain't gonna be me. I'd hook it
Right.
and lose it 3 times
Yeah, and get disqualified.
and get DQ'd on the way back to the ramp for not having insurance.
Have you been scoping a lot, Trey?
I've been trying. I've been trying to get better with it because I get my teeth kicked in all the time by it.
I know exactly what you're saying.
So I'm having to because it doesn't look like, they're going to do anything to stop it. Yeah, so I either got to get better at it or stay my butt at home and quit wasting money. So I've been trying to get better at it, but dadgum, dude, it's hard to learn.
You ought to be old and can't see.
Yeah.
It is.
I got me a 16-inch screen on there now, so I don't have no excuses. I got it on there. I just ain't too good with it yet.
Mm.
Well, have you fished a tournament yet where you just scoped?
I did. Ouachita in the Open this year, I scoped. I never cast at the bank the entire time. I solely scoped every day of practice, every day of the tournament.
Did that
That's
hurt?
cool.
I still got my butt beat by it, and I felt like I had arthritis in my neck. I couldn't even sleep at night because I felt like I was looking down at a little screen all day.
Come on now. Don't you know if you scoping, you cheating, they
Oh.
just jump in the boat.
Well, that's what
It
they
may
say.
be the case for somebody, but it ain't for me.
It dang sure ain't for me. I don't even know what I'm throwing at drum, carp, catfish. I just sit out there throwing at dots till one of them bite, and then bend
it's
my
a draw.
Damiki rig hook out, and then get pissed me off. Go through all kinds of heads. But yeah, I did it the entire time at Ouachita, and I weighed in 8 or 9 pounds a day. Now I did have my 7 or 8 pound bite on the second day that would have got me paid, but still got beat by it, and I had it, so I lost it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it was kind of my own fault a little bit. I think I finally thought, what the crap, I actually got one, and then lost it, so I got a little too excited.
You were more
You know,
surprised than the
I-
fish.
Yeah,
I'm surprised, that scoping is still toting the weights here at Guntersville, even this past weekend.
yeah,
You
it's,
figure with as many fish spawning, but the weights are still coming from the scopers.
it's crazy, and like it seems like to me it was never a deal here until this year. You know what I mean?
I
Like
know,
I don't
well,
ever remember it in the past year.
It has been. It's just been kept
Yeah,
Quite.
not quite as many people. It's not everybody's advertised
Yeah.
it. So.
Well, I mean, I felt like in the past years, you'd go catch them on a chatterbait and compete with 20 to 22 pounds, most of the time. Now, dude, you can go throw a chatterbait all day and you're still going to finish 30th, with
Oh,
20
yeah.
pounds. Like
You're
them
not scoping,
scopers
yeah.
going to catch 24 to 28 pounds.
Yeah, you're just hoping to cut the check. That's
Ye-
all you're doing.
Yeah.
On a perfect world situation this weekend, if it was sunny and 70 and no wind, I think a sight fisherman could compete. But if it's cloudy and dreary, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
and
the
I'm not a
weather-
scoper. I'm just fishing it for 40th place to try to get $1,000.
Yeah, the weatherman gets paid millions of dollars or however much to lie all the time, and he had said it was supposed to be pretty Saturday. So I went up a river and marked me about 60 or 80 on bed, and it looks like I just wasted time and gas money because it's going to be raining all day Saturday and cloudy. So
And that's changed. It changes every time you look at it.
yeah, my
Oh,
look,
it'll change.
it's going to rain. If I went and marked bedfish, it's going to rain.
So, all right, John, you're going fishing tomorrow, and you're fishing for you to catch to fish a tournament. What 5 baits you got tied on your deck?
Me?
You
Oh, well,
one Cinco.
fishing a tournament tomorrow. I just had a contact pop out.
Oh no,
I'm gonna have a chatterbait.
right? What color?
I am gonna have a speed worm, Cinco, and 2 scoping baits.
2 scoping baits. You heard it here. John Maynor is a scoper.
Hey, I was kind of joking around, but
We learned
I was
something.
telling the truth. All right, John Maynor is a scoper at heart.
Well, he's not a scoper at heart. He just
well-
knows the game.
I've seen the damage that can happen in very short time. It's really, there's some days that'll really frustrate you, but most of the time it's fairly easy.
So educate me, John.
it's just, I think the key is just where to look.
That's what I was about to ask. Where do you look?
I mean, it's changed, like you can go down some of these drains and little places that fish would use to transition. You can see fish swimming around just about anywhere.
Even in like 8 foot of water, you're talking about. I mean,
Deeper swings. Yeah, just, I've had the most luck in deeper stuff, 20 plus.
really, like the fish are now the fish on the bottom, or are they somewhere in the water?
Yeah, but I mean, I cheat every day just about it, and I'll catch one scoping in the grass. I'll see him out there.
You pick him from his nest out there.
Yeah, well, I'll just pick him off. You'll see him swimming above the grass, and usually if you throw all that little minnow out there, he's going to come and get it.
That is something about that eelgrass. You'll just look and there'll be one stick its head out. It just kind of comes up out of it, and you're like, "Oh, there's a
I
fish."
think they
moving
sun
around.
on top of that stuff. I think that's how they most of the time travel and live in that eelgrass. They just sit on top of it. They don't get in it.
Before we got the I guess it would have been the Panoptics, 5 or 6 years ago.
Mhm.
You in my mind, fish just laid on the bottom or wherever's next to a stump
Right?
They
Yeah,
just sat
that's what
there
we were
all
taught.
day. But they really don't ever just sit there hardly. I mean, they're moving a lot.
Mhm.
And a lot may be like us getting in the car and going to work. They may have a breakfast table and a lunch table and a living room. I don't know.
I just
sure
don't
they
think
do.
they ain't got no sense. I've seen them. They'll just swim out there in 30 feet, and then you'll follow them. They'll just go up there and sit on a stump for a minute, and then they'll come back out. They just swimming.
And that's how you fish a stump that you know's on the ledge. You don't catch nothing, and the guy comes in behind you, catches a 5-pounder. It just showed up.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they just cruise out through there.
I don't know. It's crazy. Changed the world. Are they going to ban it in any of the pro sport or the pro leagues?
I don't know why they would. I mean, the map has hurt fishing more than the scope ever will.
That's the fact. Yeah.
As far as, somebody, utilizing their time on the water and, just knowing the reservoir like they do, that just leveled the playing field right there. But I don't know. I mean, I think there'll be a bunch of people that either learn to scope or quit fishing.
Quit fishing
That's-
tournaments anyway.
that's
I mean,
why
the beauty
I got-
of it is,
That's why I had to put it on mine. I put it on mine. I'm like, if you want to compete, you got to.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's
Oh yeah.
it's just the way
you're
it
not-
is. Even
It
on
was just
gunners.
like, remember back years ago when the A rig come out. If you didn't like it, okay, you didn't like it. You didn't like throwing it. It was heavy, because we threw the big baits on it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I came home
But
arms about to fall off.
now everything's kind of small. It's not that heavy. It's not that bad to throw. But it used to be awful. Like this dang chandelier you took a grandmother's house out there.
7.5 foot flipping stick, braid, and big old shadowlicious.
But if you didn't throw it, you're gonna get wore out with it.
I did that once, and I said, I guess I'm gonna have to play the game. Pretty
So
sure
it's
my
the
elbow
same.
still hurts.
It's the same thing, but you can still go out and catch a bunch of fish. You can still win. It just really makes it hard, and it gives a lot of people that don't know the lake a big advantage. That's the biggest thing I
Yeah,
see.
just go sit down near a causeway somewhere and don't even troll on it. They don't even have to be at the causeway. You just got to be in the general vicinity where they're cruising through.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They're-
I mean that's what gives a lot of these old guys the wrong butt, because they've invested so much time, and then this kid comes out with his map and his scope, and in 45 minutes he knows what he's going to do tomorrow. He's not guessing, hey, am I going to throw a chatterbait, or I need to throw the green pumpkin or the white, or a spinner bait, or am I going to drag a worm, jig? He don't have to worry about any of that. He knows what he's going to throw. He just got to find where to throw it.
We've gone from throwing chandelier Alabama rigs to freaking crappie rods with crappie baits
Yep.
on them to catch a bass. And that, I mean, I just soon throw the chandelier myself. It just was fish like a man.
I'll tell you, it wasn't long ago, 8 or 9 years ago. I remember if you pulled a spinning rod out over here, they'd pull your man card for you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I had a couple that were about half as old as Trey, and that I didn't ever use, and now I had to buy one more just because I'm like, well, I need it. I'm gonna have to have it.
Yeah.
And I hate them. Like they don't even feel right in my hand.
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, we fished with line that was as big around as my spinning rod.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. Times are changing. Clearwater and eelgrass.
Just fishing pressure, I think, has changed it more than anything. But eelgrass has changed things a lot.
These dang Japanese have come over here with all their fancy
Yeah.
techniques, and we've all had to adapt.
Got a little fuzzy cube, takes 7 hours to sink to the bottom. He beats my brains in every day.
That's what you need, Trey. You need to start a Bubba trail or something.
The Bubba Trail. I'm not that well. They did that. PA. They had a thing over on Lake Lanier a week or so ago. That
That's all that.
that was a no
That's all that.
no scoping
Mhm.
kind of deal. So
And they
Which
caught
they-
it too.
they
Which
did.
They
It was
did do
spawning.
it when they were spawning
Yeah.
everywhere around the bank. Like
Yeah.
that don't really show you, much. When
Try that in a month.
Yeah,
And let's see how that
let's
works
go
out.
there in like
So,
October.
Instead of watching them on the screen, you just watch them.
Yeah, watch them swimming down the bank. Like,
So the new debate that's come out, and then we'll probably wrap this up. But the new debate that's come out out of this last week's Elite Series tournament, somebody scoping hooked one, and it's legal, but somebody scoping caught a pretty good one hooked in the belly on a jerkbait. So now people are going, well, when you're sight fishing in these tournaments, they got to be hooked in the mouth. We're looking at them on the screen now. That nobody's saying that they could snag them on purpose, because I don't know that I
hell, I can't even cast to them and see my bait.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna snap.
Yeah, but so the question lies now is, do they need to make a rule that says they got to be hooked in the mouth that you're scoping?
Somebody asked me about that the other day, and I know Manuel will probably agree with me. Most of the time, man, when they bite a jerkbait, they don't get it in the mouth anyway.
just
They just swipe at it, and you end up having them in the side. Like, there's just no way to control that. There's no way to, and every boat don't have a marshal. So how you going to know if, this guy did it, this guy didn't? I just don't see how, because I don't think yet we've seen anybody go out there with the intentions of snagging them.
Right, they're not throwing a shoe-sized jerkbait
Yeah.
with huge trebles on
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. Maynard, what do you think about it?
I mean, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about it, but those fish, especially when it's colder, they don't move a lot, and you just sit there and wiggle that minnow right over his head and watch him move on it. But I could see where it could definitely be snagged.
Mm-hmm.
You're better than I
I
am.
mean, yeah. I mean, if you hit the right bait, you could put a hook in him.
I see that.
There's no doubt about
Be a
it.
good way to catch some big old drum and catfish too.
I think
Oh,
it just
yeah.
boils down to if you suspect somebody's doing that, you just have to polygraph them to know the intent on if they meant to or not. You know what I mean? Like there's no way to police it. There's the only person that would know if I snag one on live scope would be me, if that makes sense.
Right. And hell, you might
Yeah.
not know. It's probably luck.
And that's what I'm saying. If it's gonna be me, I can't even cast in the cone and find my jerk bait. So if I do, it's pure luck.
Yeah, I don't know how they'd police it.
That's
Not at
that's
all.
my thing.
Well, John, it was good to talk to you. Hadn't seen you in a while. I hope to hear from you soon. Normally about May's when you start catching tags. So,
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer when it comes to tags, but I'm due one.
Welcome to the
I'm due
family.
one.
a
And I mean, groceries are high. I need one now.
groceries are high, gas is high, just getting worse. So, anyway, well, John, I can't thank you enough for taking a few minutes to come on and talk fishing with us. We'll talk to you soon.
And I appreciate y'all having me.
Hey, wait, one more thing. If somebody wants to
Yep.
get in touch with John Maynard to go fishing, how do they get in touch with you?
Oh, they can give me a call, 256-227-3277.
I'm the world's worst about that. I'm glad I got that in. So, anyway.
Oh, it's good.
But,
It's all good.
All right, John, I appreciate it. Thank you much.
All right, y'all be good. See you.
John's always fun. That's the reason I did that. I was in the mood to laugh at you.
That's
You
right.
two are like brothers or something. I hadn't figured it out, but I know there's some stories that go back. Maybe I think he helped change your diapers or something when you were learning to fish.
There's no telling. That's the story for another time.
Yeah,
We
that's
can get back into my waterfront days, and I spent a lot of days talking to John Maynard.
I imagine you did.
Oh, you don't even know.
We talked about tournaments. The guy that used to run the Thursday nighter out of City Park in Scottsboro, they had family issues and they had to bow out. But another guy took over and has moved it to Goose Pond every Wednesday. There is a little Wildcat out of there. I think it's at 4:30. $20, $25 per person. It's not like the Trey Swindle donation fund they have down there at Allreds. They hadn't started yet, but it's just a good fun one if you're looking for an afternoon something to go fish. Other than that, we'll see you in a few weeks, couple weeks. I'm not sure what Trey's schedule is, but we'll get it figured out. We'll have some more. Let's say we've got a pretty neat one coming up here in another week or so. Until then, enjoy the floating grass.